Yo, 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 welcome back to my YouTube channel. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe, smash that button, whatever you guys say. But I loved all of the ideas for names you guys gave me, and this one came to me like literally just like a second ago. Um, since a lot of you liked the Sumito, I thought Sumita's Math would be a good name for my YouTube channel. So let me know what you think about that. You can comment down below. So this is me, super cool math teacher here, killing it. Just kidding. I hope you guys are having a great afternoon or evening whenever you are watching this. And today we are talking about interest. So hopefully I can keep your interest while we talk about interest. I put the page numbers here for you guys on every slide. So if you are confused about where we are, you can always check here in red and follow along on that page as we go through this. Make sure you're not just watching, but that you're following along and taking notes as you watch the video. So interest, how can you earn money by saving money? Well, interest is the amount of money paid or earned for the use of money. So for instance, if you have a savings account, the bank might pay you in return for keeping your money in the bank. Every month they add a little bit of interest on. Nowadays the interest is not very much at all. If you borrow money or deposit money, so if you're borrowing money or if you put money in the bank, then you might want to highlight some of these words as well. The principal is the amount of money borrowed or deposited. Interest is the amount of money paid or earned. So the bank might pay you, you might earn it, or you might have to pay it depending on the case. Simple interest is calculated using specific periods of time. And again, percents are used to calculate interest. So if you put money in a savings account, the bank will pay you interest. Or if you have a credit card and you don't pay it off every month, then you have to pay interest on the amount you borrowed and spent on your credit card. So that's why it's a good idea either A, not to get a credit card ever, or B, to make sure you pay it off in full every month so you don't have to pay interest, because credit card interest is super expensive. We're going to watch a quick video, if I can get this to work properly for me, on the textbook website, and I hope this works as well. So listen and follow along, because this is going to explain how we can calculate simple interest on the first examples we're going to do.
The formula for finding simple interest is I equals PRT. Simple interest I is the product of the principal P, the annual interest rate R, and the time T, expressed in years. Rosie puts $430 into a savings account that pays 2% simple interest. How much interest will she earn in 5 years? Use the simple interest formula to find the right amount of interest Rosie will earn. Replace P with 430, R with 2 hundredths, and T with 5. Find the product. I equals 43, so Rosie will earn $43 in interest in 5 years.
So a few things. In words, simple interest I is the product of the principal, interest rate R, and the length of time T expressed in years. And this is important to understand, is that T is always in years. So for instance, if she took out, or if she deposited her money for only 6 months, then T would be 0.5 because that's half of a year. So that's important to understand that T is always in years. And in symbols, this is the formula. So I think this is in your book, but make sure you highlight or circle because you're going to be using this formula for all of the examples that we're going to look at today. So now we can go back here and look at a few examples. Okay, example 1, find the simple interest. This is on page 100, so you can fill in the empty spaces. There are a few blanks on page 100 you can fill out as we go through this example. Magdalena puts $580 into a savings account. The account pays 2.5% simple interest each year. If she doesn't add or withdraw money from the account, how much interest will she earn after 2 years? So she puts her money in the bank pays 2.5% interest every year. How much interest will she have at the end of 2 years. So we are going to first start with our formula, I equals PRT. Interest equals principal times rate times time. Our principal is the amount of money we start with. Our rate is 2.5%, but you guys know that we always change this to a decimal. So if we move that decimal 2 places left, then this is 0.025 for our rate. And then T is our time, and we are told she has this in for 2 years. So all we're going to do now is replace P with 580 times our rate of 0.025 times our time of 2 years. So 580 times 0.025 times 2 equals $29. So in 2 years, she just puts $580 in the bank, takes it out 2 years later, but she doesn't get 580, she gets 580 plus $29 worth of interest. Oops, sorry about that. So you can pause and go back if you need to copy that still. Let's look at another example, and you guys can write this in the margins on page 100 because this is not in your book. Jenny puts $15.60 into a savings account. The account pays 3.5% simple interest on an annual basis. How much will she earn after 3 years? So again, same exact formula, I equals PRT. So think about it, what is the principal? And what is the interest rate? What is R? But we don't use 3.5%. What do we use for that? So think about it. And is this what you thought? I'm sure it was, because you guys are all experts now at changing percents to decimals. And then our time, T, will be 3 years. So this is 1560 times our rate, 0.035, times 3. 1560 times 0.035 times 3 equals 163.8, but since we're talking about money, I'm going to add that 0 to make this $163.80. So she leaves her money in for 3 years and she makes $163 just by putting her money in the bank and leaving it there. So now you try it. Pause the video, do the check problem on the bottom of page 100, and see what you get for that one. Now that you've gotten that problem, we can check our answers in class tomorrow. Let's go to page 101 and look at another example. Same type of problem, but this one says that she opens a savings account for only 6 months. She puts $580 in that account and it earns 3.5% each year. How much interest will she earn? So the key thing to remember is that we still have our principal. We still have R, which we found in the last example was 0.035, but our time is 6 months. And for this formula, if I'm going to plug a number into this formula, T has to be in years. So we know that she only put the money in for 6 months. So what does 6 months equal? What portion of a year? Well, if you think about it, she left it in for 6 months. There's 12 months in a year total. So this is really half of a year, 0.5 of a year. And we already said that 3.5% as a decimal is 0.035. So she puts in $580 at a rate of 0.035 for half of a year. So we're going to put 0.5 in. Don't miss those decimal points. Hopefully you guys see those on the video. And this ends up being $10.15. So our interest for half a year, for 6 months, she puts her money in, she made $10.15. Not bad. If you guys have any questions about any of these, make sure you write them down in your margins and ask me in class, because if there's anything you don't understand, we can definitely go over it in class the next day. Here is another example. You can write this in the margins. So I equals PRT. What is P? 760, good. I'll pretend that I can hear you guys answering. You can shout out the answer at the screen. What is R? What is our interest rate? Good, 0.04. And what is our time? So be careful here because this is 9 months. So we can write this as 9 over 12, and this would be the portion of the year. It's 9/12 of a year, or as a decimal, 3/4, which is 0.75. So again, you don't put in 9. Be very careful because some of you are probably just going to put in 9. Don't put in 9 if it says months. You have to change the time to years before you plug it into the formula. So 760 times 0.04 times 0.75 is $22.80 for interest. Okay, so you guys try it. And this meme is dedicated to all of you who keep using pen in class when I've told you to use a pencil. Use a pencil. So comment down below if you are a pen user and why you use your pen in class when you should be using a pencil. Okay guys, that's the end of my video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you want more content like this, make sure to like and subscribe, tell all your friends to check out my videos, and I'll see you next time.